Hey y'all, I'm outside and today I am going to update you on the livestock and animals we've got out here at the farm, and we are going to take a quick walk through the garden. All right, so our chickens are currently in some electric netting. We had a little bit of loss over the summer. We were free ranging the birds, and as we were able to sort of do a head count, we noticed that we were losing some. We were also finding chicken parts here and there. So that is one of the reasons they're inside this electric net. The other reason is, if you've ever owned chickens, then you know they love to poop on the porch. So when we had the camper every morning, that was the first thing that greeted us. And that's no fun. So this is working out better. Our original intention was always to be rotating these chickens through the property. We've been trying to be more intentional about doing that. So this is where we've got them now. They've been here maybe 2 weeks, but with it being late January right now, there's not a whole lot of grass. So they get fed every day anyways. We will be getting a fresh batch of chicks a little later in the spring, I think closer to April. The laying with these chickens has still been pretty good, but it's wise to just keep a steady rotation. So what I'm going to be focusing on with the hens this spring and summer is allowing them to hatch out some chicks for us. We'd like to be raising our own meat birds, and so some of the breeds that we're bringing in are more dual purpose, like some Orpingtons, some Australorps. I was super focused on egg color, and I want the fun and the funky, but as we venture deeper into keeping chickens and raising our own meat, I think having a dual purpose bird is a higher priority. We did raise Cornish cross last year, and the meat has been great, but I don't like the temperament of those birds. So I don't plan to bring them back on if I don't have to. These geese are new to us. So we just got them yesterday. We've got one Sebastopol and one Toulouse geese. And the plan is to bring on another handful of Sebastopol geese in the spring. They're still a bit standoffish. I don't know if you heard that hiss, but we were told that the Sebastopol is a female and the Toulouse geese has not been sexed yet. So the goslings that we are getting in the spring will be a straight run, meaning they're not going to be sexed, but hopefully we'll have a nice mix in there. And the plan is to allow the geese to graze, which is really important for the property. And if we happen to get a gander in with our group of goslings, we may look into selling the goslings that we hatch in the future. But grazing is the primary focus initially. So whenever we're bringing new birds or anything onto the property, we want to seclude them just in case there's any illnesses that the previous party wasn't aware of or we aren't aware of. So these geese will be in this pen for a couple weeks. We'll keep an eye on them. We'll let them get to know us. We'll get to know them. And then I will focus my attention on moving them into the garden That's going to be the primary focus for grazing, and as needed, they will come outside of the garden to graze the rest of the property. So that's the plan for the geese. They are gorgeous. We're super excited to have them, and we're looking forward to seeing how they work in the garden. I think that I'm going to have to accept that there may be some loss, but I'm hoping that the pros outweigh the cons as far as moving the birds in. If it's the case that the foot traffic is a little too heavy, or there's a little bit too much waste, or they are being just entirely too destructive, I think another option might be to leave 3 or 4 in the garden and move the other 3 or 4 outside for grazing. So it's just something that's going to have to be watched and managed, but it would be really nice to bring some more life into the garden, I think. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but the peach trees outside of the garden are already blooming. Late January, so let's hope these don't get knocked back by a really low frost, or freeze, I guess I should say. Can't believe it's this time already. Right, here's that other peach tree. Oh, I think that's the first butterfly I've seen this year. I was seeing some honeybees on this tree a couple days ago, so I'm hopeful for a good harvest. It looks great. Let's take a walk into the garden. If you are new to our channel, we are farming in the low country of South Carolina. We are in Cross. The garden is just under 1/4 of an acre, and the farm overall is 10 acres. We have chosen to leave some of that wooded for now, so there's probably about 4 acres cleared, and that's what we're working with. So here in the garden, let's see, I kind of have to pick and choose because I don't ever want these videos to be ridiculously long, but right here I decided to put in a bed of perennial yarrow. So a lot of this was planted in early fall, and it's done really well. We have had temps down in the 20s, and I have thrown some frost fabric medium weight over this, but it honestly, I don't think it really needed it. I had some in another bed from last year, and it did just fine without any protection. So these beds are a bit weedy, but this right here, that's the yarrow. So that should return year after year, so long as it's healthy. And I really enjoyed having yarrow for the first time last year in our cut flower bouquets. Things are a little bit different this year because the plan is to focus on our farm stand and not so much markets. And so that means an adjustment in my planting, but I have also decided that we really want to be able to gift a few things in our community, visit some local businesses, and so we're trying to find a happy medium as far as not overplanting. So we'll see how I make out. Take a look in this little greenhouse. I put all of our citrus in the greenhouse for the winter, and I've been having a little bit of trouble with leaf miners, but aside from that, no real issues. As you can see, everything is really green. I use a little electric heater. It's got an auto off feature on it, and that's what I've been using just to make sure it stays above freezing in here. So I do have a lime that's in bloom. I purchased this Ponderosa lemon with the lemon on it, so I don't feel like that really counts, but it hasn't dropped the lemon even after repotting, and it's not dead, so I guess that's a good thing. And then in the back there, we've got a Valencia orange beginning to flower. So last winter, I put citrus in the greenhouse and it went well. I moved them out in the summertime and it sort of went downhill from there. So I am going to plan on keeping the citrus in the greenhouse this summer, adding some more ventilation and seeing how that goes. Hey, Sully. Right here in the middle are some fall planted cut flowers. I was trying to be intentional about getting as many things into the ground as I could. Last year was our first year being really intentional about planting cut flowers, and transplanting is a lot of work. So I started some Bells of Ireland here in the front. There is Nigella. Also got some lettuce transplants I put in here in the ground. And one of the goals this year is to really focus on food and flowers. That's an approach that feels really balanced to me. I like to, see what's in season or what's ready to be harvested and plan a meal around that. Yes, the primary focus is flowers, but I'm definitely tucking some food in wherever we can. We are hoping to bring some of what we grow as far as food to the farm stand on occasion. Anyways, that was a little bit of a rant, but we've got some Bupleurum here, some Larkspur, and then some Saponaria at the end. I'm working on making better use of this garden space. Deer pressure is really heavy here in South Carolina. So because this space is already fenced in, it just makes sense to use it. And I really am trying to get to know what will grow well here with the soil that we already have, minimal inputs. So this is a new planting bed that I've been working on preparing. We lost a rabbit over the summer and we had some old pellets, so I just threw it here to feed the soil. I'm gonna water that in and then we'll be planting in this space very soon. That's what's going on there. Over here I've got another in-ground bed. We've got some delphinium and snapdragons here. Again, those are for our bouquets. Right over here, this is the bed that I was mentioning had some yarrow pop back up in it. So this is yarrow from about a year ago. And then I've got some campanula in the middle, some lettuces down the side there. I think there's even some parsley on this far corner, getting mixed in with the yarrow. There's some parsley over here. This bed right here is also a mixed bed. There's some craspedia. This was fall sown, so it's just starting to get a little bit of height on it. We've got some radishes down the middle here. And then in the front, I've come in with some carrots and artichoke. So these are the little artichokes. If you've been watching for a while, I actually had artichokes going a few years ago and I pulled them out in exchange for something else. So we'll see if they get to stick around or if they'll get the boot this year. I should probably put them in the ground somewhere and not these beds. So those might get moved. We got a little bit of broccoli. Sullivan's a fan. I don't ever have a whole ton of luck with broccoli. We've got some flowering bok choy here. Might do some seed saving. Another thing I've been working on is adding more vertical growing spaces to the garden. So I've put in these 4 hog panel trellises, just using hog panels, zip ties, and T-posts that we already had lying around. How is it? So I've been trying to just sort of come out and put a handful of seeds here and there. So some of these things might be further along. I see some of this stalk right here. It's really short, but it's already on the verge of blooming. And stalk likes it cool. Here in South Carolina, we've got a pretty mild winter. And this is actually my second year attempting to grow stalk, and it's about the same as last year. So I'm not certain that stalk is something that I'm going to continue trying to grow, but it smells so great, and I can definitely make use of whatever we happen to get. I've also got some daffodils coming up in this bed, random cilantro. Here's some spinach that's a little bit further along. So we've been coming to pick from this and just adding it to our salads. We do have a new pup, Jupiter. He's a German Shepherd, and he is almost a year old now. It's just taken us a while to sort of get used to having this new personality around. Nope. He's a good boy though. Right, Joopy? Handsome boy. The ducks are still on the pond. This has probably been the best year for duck eggs thus far. We usually wake up and have a little row of eggs around the pond. Sometimes Archer will find their little nests tucked away here or there. These guys free range, and I have noticed we've lost a few, so we will probably try to see if our chickens are able to hatch out some of their eggs. They actually hatched out 4 ducklings last spring, and none of the ducklings made it. So gotta try something different this year. They may pop up with ducklings again on their own, but if we could get another handful this spring, I think that would be nice, just for the sake of, again, keeping a newer generation on hand. Some of these older birds might get lost to predator pressure or illness, so it's nice to just be mindful of keeping a steady rotation in your livestock. With our ducks, we've got white and fawn, I believe. It's like a khaki and white Indian runner, and then these right here are the silver Appleyard ducks. So these could be used for meat, but we haven't harvested any. Their primary use is making sure the pond is not stagnant, because it's not connected to a moving body of water. And so you can see them sometimes eating the tadpoles around the edge, mosquito larvae, and just sort of paddling through this water. That's what they're here for. Hi, Archer.
Hey.
Alrighty, you guys, that's going to be it for this video. Just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on as far as livestock in the garden right now. I know the garden wasn't super lush and dreamy, but we are only a few short months away from lots of food and flowers and harvest, and we can't wait to share that with you guys. We'll see you then. Bye.